Nation's #1 team, DePaul, loser of only one game all year, and that in double overtime, as they accept the challenge of long-reigning NCAA power and rebuilt UCLA. NBC Sports presents the best in college basketball. Today from Tempe, Arizona, second round of the 1980 National Collegiate Basketball Championships. Welcome to the Valley of the Sun, Tempe, Arizona, a suburb of Phoenix, Arizona. The regionals continue, and today it's the UCLA Bruins, long time synonymous with this tournament, against DePaul's Blue Demons. And what a difference a year makes. Hello, everyone. I'm Dick Enberg, along with Coach Al McGuire. Remember, Coach, last year at this time, it was favored UCLA, the regional finals in Utah against underdog DePaul. And on that day, the Blue Demons prevailed, and 65-year-old Coach Ray Meyer became the basketball talk of the nation as he pulled the upset and finally realized his dream as he took his team then to the Final Four. It was DePaul, not UCLA, that would go to the finals in Salt Lake. And Hamilton with four seem afraid to foul, and it doesn't matter. There it is, Gary Garland with 8 seconds left, and DePaul leads by 4. And there's the man with the three. Holland can't hit it. Hamilton does. The ball game, no basket. And they're back again today to meet once again in tournament play. Roles reversed. DePaul, the heavy favorite, and UCLA, the underdog. Dick Enberg and Al McGuire, that's a sellout, over 14,000. The second game in this site will feature the home team, Arizona State, against Ohio State of the Big Ten. You know, there are a lot of beautiful pictures in that DePaul victory last March, and one of the will always live in my memory is when you embraced Coach Ray Meyer. I think you were happier than the coach himself.
Well, I competed against him for 13 years, and he's a close friend of mine. But he had a dream come true. He got to the Final Four. Now he wants to get to the Final Two.
All right, he has a man, aircraft carrier of sorts, to take him there, and a 27-point average All-American Mark Aguirre.
Mark Aguirre is a punishing ball player inside. He takes his 235 pounds and throws it at you. He's the best power forward in college basketball today. He's on everybody's All-American team. Now you flip the coin, you go on to Kiki Vandeweghe. He can drill it from 18 feet out. He can play rough and tough underneath. He doesn't look pretty, but he gets the job done. He's Mr. Steady for UCLA.
Well, Aguirre finished the season with a roar. In the last couple of weeks, he scored 40 points or more in 3 games, and Vandeweghe, in beating Old Dominion UCLA on Friday night, had his career high in 4 years of 34 points. They both appear to be ready today. Will it be UCLA or favored DePaul that advances toward the regional finals? We'll meet the starting lineups right after we pause for this word. Oh, man, this is... And now the introduction of the starting lineups. Let's go to the public address announcer here at Arizona State University.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting lineups for today's game. For the Bruins of UCLA, at forward, a 6'7" senior from Los Angeles, California, number 35, James Wilkes. For the Blue Demons of DePaul, at forward, a 6'9" senior from Albuquerque, New Mexico, number 11, Jim Mitchell. At forward for UCLA, a 6'8" senior from Los Angeles, California, number 55, Kiki Vandeweghe. At forward for DePaul, a 6'7" sophomore from Chicago, Illinois, number 24, Mark Aguirre. At center for UCLA, a 6'6" sophomore from Los Angeles, California, number 11, Mike Sanders. At center for DePaul, a 6'9" freshman from Chicago, Illinois, number 32, Terry Cummings. At guard for UCLA, a 6'1" freshman from New Britain, Connecticut, number 10, Rod Foster. At guard for DePaul, a 6'2" sophomore from Chicago, Illinois, number 44, Skip Dillard. At guard for UCLA, a 6'3" freshman from Pasadena, California, number 14, Michael Holton. At guard for DePaul, a 6' junior from East Orange, New Jersey, number 23, Clyde Bradshaw. The head coach of the UCLA Bruins, Larry Brown. And the head coach for the Blue Demons of DePaul, Ray Meyer.
Brown, 39 years of age, his first year as the head coach of UCLA against the 66-year-old patriarch of the DePaul Blue Demons, Ray Meyer. And we're going to have the opening tip-off in just a moment. We understand that we have other network affiliates joining this telecast from the far west as other games are being completed in the east. You see the DePaul huddle, Ray Meyer, final instructions, his assistant coach and son, Joe Meyer, with the back to us to his right. And we'll have the opening tip-off here at Arizona State University right after we pause for this word. Ready for the first half. UCLA in the blue with yellow trim. DePaul in white with red and blue. The officials are Dr. Hank Nichols, the referee. Albert Fielden and Dan Woolridge are the umpires. And DePaul controls the opening tap. Skip Dillard. And here's Clyde the Glide Bradshaw. Cummings, the sensational freshman, off to the senior Mitchum, playing with a broken hand. Aguirre fires, and it's not there. James Wilkes, the top defensive forward for UCLA. He'll be hawking. Aguirre got the rebound.
Surprised Aguirre took a shot from the outside. I thought he'd go inside and try to get fouled right off the bat.
Freshman guards for UCLA, Foster and Holton. Wilkes, a senior, with the ball down. Sanders, a sophomore in the post, and Vandeweghe, the other forward, also a senior. That's Sanders, short. Holton underneath to convert for UCLA. Now the underdog Bruins take the early lead. Dillard, Bradshaw, Holden on him. The big matchup is Wilkes against Aguirre, two great physical athletes. Mitchum is short, rebound to Aguirre.
I'm surprised DePaul is starting out shooting from the outside. They've got to get the game inside. That's where they're strong.
Cummings inside, off a foot of a UCLA player to DePaul. Coach, you had an interesting comment about the fans around the country as this tournament develops. There are natural, inborn DePaul fans, but they're getting their own Subway alumni.
What happens is each team loses. I think they pick up Ray Meyer and DePaul, and all of a sudden it's like a tidal wave coming in.
Aguirre, Dillard, Bradshaw, the left-hander, way off the mark. DePaul's first three attempts have not been close.
UCLA was in the zone then, Dick, 2-3.
Foster to Vandeweghe. Rod Foster, the Rocket from Connecticut. Not there, but Vandeweghe follows it in. It's 4-0 UCLA.
DePaul seems to be a little mixed up on their assignments defensively. Some were playing the zone then, others were playing man-to-man. Get the ball into Mark and off to the races.
Cummings, a 16-footer. Not there, and it's a rebound by Sanders. 6'6" sophomore from DeRidder, Louisiana. Holton, a nice move. He had the 15-footer, passed it up. It's Wilkes from the side. Not there. Dillard rebounds for DePaul. Junior college transfer from Casper, Wyoming this year, and he's really settled that backcourt along with Bradshaw. Aguirre flip pass and almost too casual, out of bounds. Oh, I'd like to see you if one of your players had made that pass. And look at Ray Meyer reacting just the same.
Yeah, a little bit too much French pastry that time, Mark.
UCLA with a 4-0 lead. We played 2 minutes and 20 seconds of this first half.
Coach Larry Brown has brought UCLA along famously since the beginning of the year.
About 14 games ago, he put Sanders, a short man, in the post. Vandeweghe outside, way short. Out it comes to Mitchum. DePaul on the break. Bradshaw with Cummings.
Oh, what a pass.
And Cummings has DePaul's first basket.
Clyde to glide through a professional pass that time. Outstanding.
Foster. Lightning quick to Wilkes. Bolton to Vandeweghe. Bolton does not shoot much. Out of bounds off the foot of Holton to DePaul. Surprised he didn't go after the ball.
Watch Bradshaw cutting in this time and kicking the ball into Cummings if we get a replay here.
Yeah, let's stay with the live action at this point. We have a foul away from the ball. And I believe it's on Wilkes trying to hold Aguirre. It is Wilkes, the first foul of the game. Let's check other scores. Key action on this Sunday around the nation. Final, Georgetown, and quite a battle in the East, eliminates Iona 74-71. LSU advances, a 10-point victory over Alcorn. And it's Virginia Tech over Indiana. We had heard the score the other way. Aguirre has tied it up for DePaul at 4 apiece. Let's double check that score. We had heard Indiana was leading. That score indicates Virginia Tech with a mighty big upset. We'll get confirmation for you.
Mark Aguirre got the ball inside. That was all she wrote. 2 points.
Vandeweghe inside, and he scores as well, and there's a foul.
Super move by Kiki Vandeweghe that time. Slipped in between the 2 defensive men.
Cummings got the foul.
Kiki does it nice and slow and nice and easy. Slips in between them, keeps his head up, lays the ball over. He's hit, could be a possible 3-point play.
Son of Ernie Vandeweghe. We do understand it was Indiana won and not Virginia Tech, so just reverse those scores.
That's why I kept quiet, Dick. I wasn't sure.
And I wanted to be sure. We just read what we saw on the monitor, and that was our first report.
DePaul's going to win there to keep the ball in this fella's hands. He's the key to the ball, not Mark Aguirre. Bradshaw's the key.
Here's Foster the other way as the Bruins on the run, and it's Foster who can't connect. Sanders rides the boards and scores, but there's a foul on Sanders of UCLA.
Yeah, it looked like he had a saddle that time. He came on someone's back.
I think he thought he was on the back of his own teammate, however, and that's what Larry Brown is yelling.
Boy, did you see that Rockets go that time?
We have a timeout. The score is 7-4 UCLA. We return to our studios. We welcome fans in Denton, Texas. We got the commercial cue. There obviously was no commercial. All right, we're set to go here at Arizona State in the early going. 4 minutes have been played. UCLA leading favorite DePaul. That's Mark Aguirre. And it'll be out of bounds to UCLA.
Excellent call. Skip Dillard was sliding on the out of bounds line. He touched the ball, so automatically UCLA's ball.
Larry Brown, the young coach of the Bruins. His team in front by 3. Arizona State, Ohio State waiting in the wings for the second game.
Backdoor play, should be 2.
Bolton can't hit it. Rebound nicely by Aguirre.
They set that play up perfectly. 2-3 high offense.
Grubbs in the game. Teddy Grubbs for the first time, and he hits. Grubbs was the star in the victory over UCLA early in the season when he scored 28 coming off the bench. Many of the shots much like that one.
Exactly like that one, Dick.
That was a 99-94 victory for DePaul at Foley Pavilion. Foster. Rebound and taken away for a moment by Wilkes. But it's Cummings, who has been an outstanding board man, the freshman. DePaul looking for its first lead. It's Bradshaw. Not there. The tip by Vandeweghe outside. Foster can't save it. DePaul's ball.
Cummings kept alive, then Kiki Vandeweghe got his hand on it and kicked it out of bounds.
Even the 66-year-old Baron of Belden Avenue feeling the pressure. You saw him, that big exhale.
Doesn't want to coach any place else. He doesn't want to live any place else but Chicago.
He is Chicago this week. Aguirre can't connect. Cummings follows it, and he is fouled in turn by Mike Sanders. His second foul.
The thing about Cummings that makes him so good, he's off his feet so quick for a tall man.
Cummings, 6'9" freshman from Carver High School in Chicago. He'll be at the line. Second foul on Sanders, and third team foul on UCLA.
He's a born-again Christian, and he made a turnaround in his life. Where other fellows are taking books and records, he brings Bible and Bible records on the trips with him.
He has tied the game at 7. He didn't play basketball, organized basketball, till he was a sophomore in high school. 8-7, DePaul's first lead. Cummings has 4. Timeout here at Arizona State. A reminder, you'll also see the breathtaking thrills World Cup aerial skiing. It's a human ballet on skis in midair. If you've never seen this before, it is sensational entertainment. That's later today on NBC Sports World.
There's human ballet right there, Dick. That's college basketball right there. Next year, we got to pick a cheerleader squad for the season. An all-American cheerleader squad.
I think that's a great idea, and it has a lot of possibilities, doesn't it? We will and have picked our NBC all-freshman team in this year. Sensational first-year players in the college ranks. And we're pleased to announce we're going to present them to the press on the Sunday between the semifinals and finals 2 weeks from today in Indianapolis at Market Square Arena. And it is a mighty, mighty difficult decision to name the best because it has been a bumper crop. And you're seeing two of them here today. Terry Cummings of DePaul, Rod Foster of UCLA. And in the second game, Scott of Arizona State and Kellogg of Ohio State. They're all under consideration. 8-7. DePaul leads UCLA 5 minutes into the game. DePaul pressuring UCLA in the backcourt.
It's a 4-1 zone press up front with Cummins playing a one-man zone in the back, protecting the basket.
All right, Holton is free and will set up the offense.
They're going to man-to-man now, Dick. No, they're staying in the zone. Excuse me, a 2-3 zone.
A lot of teams have zoned UCLA this year. Larry Brown was hoping that he could take a big enough early lead to force DePaul into man-to-man. He feels his team would play better. Holton to Foster. Not a bad outside shooter. Not there, and it's Aguirre. Great position. Here come the Demons. Bradshaw, the quarterback. Junior from East Orange, New Jersey, sets up Dillard. Skip Dillard can't hit. Holton with a rebound.
Bradshaw might be the best point guard in basketball today.
Holton, Sanders, 18-footer, and UCLA's back in front, 9-8. 2 points for Sanders.
Sanders, for his size, can shoot from the outside. Matter of fact, Larry said he's a zone breaker, so watch for him to shoot out there. Brooks is doing a good job on Aguirre.
That's Grubb's spot. Can't hit that one, and it's Aguirre with a rebound, and he is fouled by Foster.
Any rebound on the offensive board underneath there, it's automatic 2 or 3 point play or a 2-shot foul. Let's take a look at this. He gets the ball on the inside with the position there, and it's automatic. They had to hit him, otherwise he would have had 2 points.
Mark Aguirre, what a sensational year. The sophomore has averaged 27 points a game. And almost 8 rebounds a game. He was the top scoring freshman last year, 24-point average and 27 points a game as a sophomore. A new game at 9, Coach.
They're trying to turn him over. They're putting the pressure on up court.
Foster 2-on-1 with Sanders. Good pass to Sanders. And a foul on
Dillard.
Dillard, number 44.
Dillard made a good play to hustle him back after the breakthrough. UCLA is breaking their pressure. Then the defensive team of DePaul has to hustle back. Dillard got back there real good that time, but caught the man's wrist. Here he is. See him hustling back? That's what makes a good defense. Now he catches him right there. DePaul's now sitting in the 2-3 zone again.
And DePaul makes the steal as Aguirre jumped in front of Wilkes to steal it. 9-9 tie. We played nearly 7 minutes. Bradshaw, Grubbs. Not there. Aguirre got his hands on it again. So did Bradshaw. Had moved inside, but it's UCLA the other way. Sanders. Good reaction as Dillard had position on him. Foster weaving inside, and he scores. Rod Foster gives UCLA 11-9 lead.
Certainly quick in a one-on-one situation. You're not going to stop him.
First bucket for Foster. Grubbs tips it in, got it back and hammered. No, it was Cummings with a left hand who scored.
Beautiful left-hand tip that time.
12:35 and Cummings now with 4 points for DePaul. Traveling against Vandeweghe as he took a little shuffle step, starting his dribble, and with the game tied at 11, it's DePaul the other way. And a technical foul on Larry Brown.
That was a
That
quick
didn't take
one.
long, did it?
Trying to hit. There it is. He shuffled his feet going around after the head fake.
And Larry Brown says that's a cheap technical, he shouts at the official.
Well, you know, it's happened the same way it happened yesterday on Norm Stewart. He got a technical very early in the game. It looks like the officials don't want the game out of hand.
Dr. Hank Nichols is the referee, and he slapped that tee on Brown in a hurry.
Now, I thought yesterday that maybe Digger Phelps made a mistake in not countering the technical foul by Norm Stewart.
You would have come right back and gotten one yourself?
Well, I would have reacted because after a referee calls a technical foul, there seems to be a little bit of appeasement. They figure, well, I put the guy in this place, and he kind of bends the other way subconsciously. Let's see what happens in this situation now.
Aguirre is 1 for 3 from the line. 1 for 4. That's most unusual. And Aguirre with a puzzled expression, painfully so, after he missed that second one.
Usually that comes from not having concentration. It's much more difficult to shoot a technical foul because there's nobody on the foul line. You're used to all the time guys being lined up on both sides.
McGuire posting Wilkes up. Can't hit, follows his shot, and it's out of bounds off the toe of Terry Cummings. Boy, those demons really crash the offensive boards, and of course they have big weapons in there in Cummings and Aguirre.
They bang in. Well, the big problem at UCLA, they don't have a true center. Wilkes is doing a magnificent job out there with Kiki Vandeweghe and Sanders, but they can't match with DePaul's baseline. Teddy Grubbs, Cummings, and Mark Aguirre. DePaul is still sitting in the 2-3 zone. Excuse me.
That's all right. 8 minutes gone. 11-11. Rod Foster. Not there. Oh, what a tip by Mike Sanders as he came flying in from the wing. He's only 6'6". 4 points for Sanders.
That was really a cup dunk more than a tip.
Dillard can't get inside Foster. Cummings working the baseline against Vandeweghe. Vandeweghe rebounds for UCLA, and the Bruins with a 13-11 lead head up court. Sanders to Vandeweghe.
That should be 2.
It is. 15-11.
You give his father that shot, Dr. Ernie, at his age today, he'll can it.
7 points for Vandeweghe, the Bruins' leading scorer, averaging just under 20 points a game.
DePaul, you got to get the ball into Bradshaw's hands. He'll take care of the show. Let him run the tempo.
Dillard a 20-footer, and DePaul counters. It's 15-13.
Bradshaw makes other people heroes. He'll shake and bake and pass off on the inside. See, for some reason, teams seem to forget who their stars are.
It's something you've always preached, and it makes so much sense. Foster nails a 15-footer, and it's 17-13, and the pace quickens here at midpoint of the first half.
Kid from Connecticut is really turning on.
Inside, Dillard blocked partially by Foster, but recovered by the quick hands of Bradshaw. Slips inside and scores.
Beautiful left hand he put up there. He slipped around real quick. He's like a cat under there in the land of the Giants.
First points for Bradshaw, 17-15. UCLA with the lead and the ball. Vandeweghe inside, and he was fouled by Bradshaw. In comes number 32 for UCLA. He did not play at all against Old Dominion. Daryl Allums, once a starter for UCLA earlier in the year, but when Larry Brown made up his new lineup, a lineup that won 9 of the last 12, Allums came out and Mike Sanders became the center. Here comes number 30, Darren Day, one of the talented freshmen on the UCLA club. He replaces Foster. Day is 6'7".
I think you'll see him alternate with Allums and Wilkes because Allums has the body to neutralize Aguirre's body. See, what you got to remember in basketball, the size of the body means height. Aguirre, what's his height right now? Mark
6'5".
6'7".
Is he 6'7"?
6'7", but with that body, he goes 6'9". They might be cheating on that height.
I think they are. Vandeweghe way off the mark. Grubbs off his shoulder out to Bradshaw. DePaul looking for a tying basket. It's Dillard who guns and knocks it home. It's tied at 17.
He played high school ball with Mark Aguirre. Didn't have the academic marks, so he had to go to junior college. Stayed there 1 year, got a B average, eligible right away. Has 2 more years after this.
Westinghouse High School. There's Bradshaw with one of his patented steals.
Oh! He took you to school that time. He went between his legs. I didn't think he was that fancy. What happened?
4 points for Bradshaw. And DePaul is in front, 19-17. Foul is on Darren Day, and Bradshaw forces another turnover. So Day, just into the game, has had one pilfered for 2. And then Bradshaw, again, the veteran, gets himself in position to take it away again.
He's like an octopus there. He gets the turnover. He goes down court. Watch him go between his legs. Oh, mother. Then up he goes. Nice. Very nice.
9:34 remaining in the first half. Top-rated DePaul leads UCLA by... One of the most coveted titles in athletic competition is NCAA champion. During 1979-80, more than 12,000 student athletes will compete for this prestigious title. This is the NCAA's 98th championship year. 43 exciting championships are being contested in 19 sports on 3 competitive levels. Make a point to attend an NCAA championship this year. Preceding announcement furnished by the NCAA.
UCLA is in the 2-3 zone, and they're favoring wherever Aguirre goes, they're favoring.
Dillard misses, but Grubbs rebounds, and it's rebounded by UCLA's Daryl Allums.
Poor selection of a shot that time.
19-17, UCLA trailing with 9:07 left in the first half here at Arizona State University, Tempe, Arizona. Beautiful day, in case you're wondering, around 75 degrees outside. Sanders gets another chance, sets up Vandeweghe. He uses his body well, but is blocked, and he traveled anyway.
He shuffled a little bit that time. He catch him. He's starting to shuffle in there a little bit. And up goes Grubbs.
Beautiful block.
And Cummings on the other side.
DePaul, 2-point lead. UCLA still in that zone.
Gonna give the ball to Bradshaw, Billy. Get on the other side of the court. He'll break the zone for you.
DePaul Thursday worked against the zone. They said it was the greatest practice they've had in several years. They, both teams playing against each other just could not miss. Bradshaw, he doesn't.
Boy, he looked like Walt Frazier that time. Mr. Smooth years ago from Southern Illinois and a great 10-year career of New York Knickerbockers.
6 points now for Bradshaw. DePaul has its biggest lead, 21-17. Sanders having trouble finding the handle.
Anytime the ball's around Bradshaw, the potential of a steal.
Inside, and look at Aguirre, those quick hands. And he almost took care of our camera down there as well. Hang on, Mark, that's expensive equipment. Well, it's just as expensive at the other end.
Oh, no, that's expensive equipment right there, that knee.
That's
I hope it's not hurt.
I think he's all right.
You know, this week on Tuesday, Coach Myers put him out of practice.
Yeah,
he just
right to the locker.
wasn't performing. And the next day he came back, performed good on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. And he says, well, I wasn't performing. I should have been put out of practice.
I liked him for saying that, but the coach was right. I wasn't working hard. And they say their practices are so easy for him. He can shoot outside, he can shoot inside, he gets bored by them. 21-17. DePaul leads, UCLA with the ball. Good pass, and Allums is blocked with Vandeweghe. Follows, he misses. Allums gets it back, he scores. 21-19. DePaul, first bucket by Allums.
Good hustle by him. He stayed in there. Very nice young guy. He's a senior. He's good on defense. That's why he's on Mark Aguirre.
Bradshaw frees himself for a moment. Now UCLA switching back defensively. Travel against Grubbs. Again, if you didn't hear earlier, Georgetown edged Iona today, 74-71. LSU beat Alcorn A&M 98-88. And Indiana eliminated Virginia Tech. See, that means Indiana's going to play Purdue next round. That should be a match. They both beat each other during the regular year. Foster blocked. It goes to Cliff Pruitt, and Pruitt is fouled. Teddy Grubbs got him.
Stepped in his way as he tried to drive the baseline.
Non-shooting foul for DePaul. It's only their third. Now it's their fourth team foul. 5 against UCLA. Mitchum back into the lineup for the Demons. Albuquerque, New Mexico product. Broke his hand, fell on the ice about 3 weeks ago, but he now just has that soft wrap. He'd been wearing a cast prior to now. They feel he's better prepared to perform up to his level. DePaul's had a bad run of luck with their captains in the tournament play with injuries. Vandeweghe can't hit. That would have tied it. Aguirre gets the rebound. Here comes Clyde.
There goes Clyde.
Doesn't hit. Rebound. And Grubbs can't connect. It was Cummings, however, and a foul as he tried to make that follow shot. I believe it's Cliff Pruitt. He's wearing the
Cliff Pruitt, he pole vaulted on him that time, Dick.
All right, first foul on Pruitt.
This is a shot by Ernie Vandeweghe, Kiki Vandeweghe
Well,
down below.
Too.
There goes Mark Aguirre down for the count. Here comes Clyde to Clyde Bradshaw.
Aguirre can't hit from the corner. Mitchum gets the rebound. Good job by Mitchum. UCLA is getting one shot most of the time, almost every occasion. DePaul's gotten more than one attempt. They lead 21-19. There's Aguirre's spot at 23-19. Aguirre has 5.
He's a streak player. Now watch him try to compound his points right away. Next time down, he'll take it to the basket probably.
Holton to Pruitt, another freshman for UCLA. Allums a senior.
See, outside shooting on UCLA is suspect. That's why Coach Myers has him in the 2-3 zone.
Inside Allums, and Mitchum was blocking his path. Foul on number 11 of DePaul, senior James Mitchum. He's the only senior on this DePaul team, although there is obvious speculation as to whether Aguirre will come back next year. A sensational sophomore might express hardship and go to the NBA.
I've always believed it wasn't the hardship of the ball player, it was the hardship of the pro owner.
And the ex-college coach. Good rebound by Pruitt, and he was fouled by Bradshaw. Bradshaw knew it. He just hiding his hands behind his back. Said, I didn't get my hands in the cookie jar. Larry Brown calling Michael Holton back and giving him a quick study while Cliff Pruitt goes to the free throw line. Early score, Syracuse leading Villanova 6-4. Texas A&M 8, North Carolina 6, Kentucky 4, Florida State 2. Obviously, those games just underway in other regions.
Both teams are in the 1-1 now. Pruitt surprisingly went to Bourbon Day High School, the same one that Greenwood went to. There he used Greenwood's number when he got there was number 42, and now he uses Greenwood's number at UCLA, which is 34.
And he picked himself a pretty good model. 23-21, the first points for Pruitt. DePaul leads by 2, 5 minutes and 36 seconds remaining in the first half.
In the man-to-man now. Allums is that's on Mark Aguirre.
So Aguirre, an offensive foul, a very costly penalty. You lose the opportunity to score, and it'll be UCLA going the other way.
The most important statistic in basketball, Dick, is the turnover.
And this is maybe the worst of all turnovers because you lose a chance for 2 and you give the other man a chance to make 2.
It'd be nice if we could catch next time down Mark Aguirre and Allums. They're really just banging bodies in there.
Allums, an outstanding student, not a good free throw shooter.
You know,
he looked pretty good on that one, didn't he?
I thought his statistics were pretty good. I don't know, Dick.
No, 53% from the line. He's 1 out of 2, and it remains a 1-point lead for DePaul, 23-22.
I owe you one, Doctor.
Cummings.
Watch that inside action now. Watch him just pounding in there.
And another foul, and again it gets against Aguirre. 2 fouls on Aguirre.
No, that was 3 seconds, Dick.
Oh, 3 seconds. I'm sorry. He pointed at Aguirre and then gave the 3.
Now we're even.
Okay. Jump ball. I'll never be even with you. Are you kidding?
No more ice in the puck.
I should be so lucky. Where's Billy when I need him? Holton and Foster. 5:08 remaining in the first half. UCLA a chance to gain the lead, and it's Pruitt who takes the shot. Out of bounds to the Bruins. And we have a timeout. Activity Center, campus of Arizona State University. The scene, the score, 23-22 DePaul. We return to our studios for this message. DePaul, loser of only 1 game all year. That in double overtime at Notre Dame in the final week of the season. And they're behind UCLA as Kiki Vandeweghe connects. 9 points for Vandeweghe. It's 24-23 UCLA with 4 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first half. Dick Enberg and Al McGuire, Bryant Gumbel in New York. And keeping up to date on all the scores and highlights on NBC. Some of you, this is the first game of the doubleheader. You'll see Arizona State, Ohio State following this game. Others of you have already seen exciting action today. It's through the hands of Cummings and out of bounds. Aguirre and Cummings both touched it on its way out of bounds. And Ray Meyer's club has not played up to form in this first half.
They're still sitting back in the 2-3 zone. UCLA is trying to get the ball to Kiki Vandeweghe on the foul line.
Pruitt, Holton, and Foster, 3 freshmen on the perimeter for UCLA with Vandeweghe and Allums inside. Pruitt gets a kind bounce, and UCLA has its biggest advantage at 26-23.
Now I guarantee the ball goes into Mark Aguirre. You usually have to drop down a little bit before you start giving it to your star.
Aguirre has it back outside to Dillard. Allums on Aguirre. He moves to the hoop.
There he goes.
Oh my, falling out of bounds and angles in an 8-footer. 26-25. Aguirre has 7. So Vandeweghe, the star of the Bruins, with 9. Aguirre with 7 for DePaul.
Try to get the ball back into Kiki Vandeweghe. Outside shooting for UCLA is suspect.
Foster, maybe the best outside shooter, and he nails one from the side.
Foster is their best outside shooter, I believe.
You know, he's got great shooting percentage this year. Second best in UCLA history for a guard. You know, Brad Holland was over 60% last year.
Yeah, but a lot of his were on fast breaks, where Holland's were always from about Sona area.
He was a long-range bomber. Aguirre.
Nice.
Great feed to Dillard. Two men took Aguirre. Dillard left alone, and Aguirre with the assist. 6 points for Dillard. It's 28-27. UCLA with the ball and the lead. 3 minutes left first half.
Outstanding quickness on that pass from Aguirre to Dillard.
Pruitt underneath Adams alone, and what a block! Cummings flying out of nowhere, rejected a sure two-pointer. Cummings has been a great addition to this club. 6'9", fine rebounder, and great shot blocker. Darrell Allums comes out of the game, and James Wilkes back in for UCLA.
They're alternating the man that's covering Mark Aguirre. Also trying to alternate the fouls that they're picking up.
Holton outside to Foster around the perimeter of the zone. UCLA leading 28-27. Foster, same spot he scored last time. He hits 2 in a row. 30-27. Foster from New Britain, Connecticut. Went to St. Thomas Aquinas High School in that city. Averaged 30 points a game before matriculating at UCLA.
In one high school game, he had 57 points in 2.5 quarters.
Here's Aguirre. Wilkes on Aguirre.
James Wilkes is doing a good job, but it's pretty tough to stop this guy.
Inside, and the steal for a moment, but Mitchin comes up with it. Backs it away. Wilkes is usually assigned to the top offensive forward of the opposition and is regarded as one of the better defensive players on the West Coast. He has Aguirre, and he has his hands full. Vandeweghe tips it out of bounds. Good defense by UCLA.
Excellent defense. Still, the ball is not in the hands of Clyde Bradshaw enough. He's the, even though he's a junior, he plays like a senior, and probably, as I said earlier, the best point guard in the country.
Partially blocked by Wilkes. What a play, and Pruitt can't save it. It goes to Aguirre. He takes it over. Wilkes for the bucket. We saw that yesterday, tipping the ball in out of bounds right under the bucket, and that time it went to Aguirre, as it did yesterday in our Missouri game when they upset Notre Dame.
That was a big, Bill Hanslick threw it in. Stavanovich got it. It was a big basket at that time.
That was Dressler, wasn't it? Dressler, because he got everything.
Excuse me, you're right.
Time running out in this first half. UCLA may hold it and go for the last shot. We'll see. What do you think?
I think they'll force the ball into man-to-man. There they go. The ball went to man-to-man. They forced the ball out of their 2-3 zone.
UCLA has played a good first half. They lead by 1 over the #1 team in the country. It's Wilkes inside. Oh, how did that one go in?
Plus him off the heel of his hand.
53 seconds left as Wilkes has his first basket. UCLA leads by 3. Final minute, first half. All the scores, highlights at halftime. Special features, stay with us. Dillard can't connect. Rebound, Holton. He spins out of there, and Aguirre trying to get him in a trap. Vandeweghe.
Big basket. Now they'll play for one shot. They'll go 4 corners, spread it out. Now Larry's yelling out there, one shot. Whoop.
Wilkes.
There's your one shot, Larry Brown.
34-29. Wilkes with back-to-back hoops. And it's the biggest lead of the game for UCLA. Apparently, they'll go into the locker room with a lead at halftime. This crowd applauding. Good defense by Pruitt. It's Mitchum. Tipped in by Terry Cummings, and he is fouled by Ernie Vandeweghe. It is Ernest Maurice Vandeweghe Jr. and Kiki a nickname.
The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. That was a big basket, Dick.
8 seconds left in the half, and it sends Cummings to the line with a chance for the three-point play.
They knocked it down from 5, and they end up going in only 2 up.
Could be only 1 the way they rebound a missed shot.
Well, UCLA has plenty of time to get a shot off this. Less than 8 seconds left on the official
No, and if
clock.
Cummings should miss, the way DePaul crashes the boards, they might have another chance at it. No chance on that. It's 34-32. Time running out. UCLA got to hurry. They're not going to get out of the back court.
Won't get a shot.
Foster, and that's That's the end of the first half and a good 20 minutes of action here in Tempe, Arizona. The underdog UCLA Bruins, 10 times national champions, the favored DePaul Blue Demons. And at the intermission, it's UCLA 34, DePaul 32. 34-32 here at Arizona State University. Dick Enberg with Coach Al McGuire. Surprised at all?
Yeah, well, I think what's happening is UCLA is alternating their defenses and has broke the rhythm of DePaul. Also, but DePaul is not getting the ball into Clyde Bradshaw's hands enough. But as we said from the top of the show, it's the offensive power of Mark Aguirre against Kiki Vandeweghe. They both got 9 points.
And we'll have all the scores and highlights from Brian Gumbel in New York on the IBM College Basketball. 34-32, and the preceding message was furnished by the NCAA. Well, yesterday, of the 8 seeded teams, 5 were beaten. That's even above your expectations. Today, the first 3 results show the 3 seeded teams all won: Georgetown, LSU, and Indiana.
Well, I thought that 4 would lose out of the 16, but out of the losing ones, the ones that beat them, they'll come a Cinderella team. It's out there someplace.
Hey, how about Lamar? That's a team that lost, by the way, to DePaul by only 2 points earlier this year in Chicago.
Well, last year in the NCAA, they beat a good Detroit team before they lost to the eventual champ, which was Michigan State.
All right, the score at the intermission is 34-32. UCLA leading DePaul. Will we have an upset here? We had them yesterday in the Midwest. And we'll return for the second half. That's our IBM College Basketball Report. First, we pause for these messages. There are your first half statistics. The number 1 team, DePaul, shooting only 37%, and they trail by 2.
Well, I think the free throws are equal. They made as many shots, but the rebounds is the difference. DePaul with 19 and UCLA with 14. The problem out there right now is Bradshaw has 2 fouls on him and Sanders has 2. Outside of that, no one else is in trouble. There's been no timeouts called, and it's anybody's ball game. That was an awfully big play at the end of the game, that 3-point play. End of the first half.
That took UCLA's lead down from 5-2, and we start the second half. DePaul controlling the ball. Same team that started the game for the Blue Demons. Bradshaw and Dillard in the backcourt. Mitchum and Cummings along with Aguirre on the front line. UCLA counters with the freshman back line of Holton and Foster. Vandeweghe and Wilkes, the 2 seniors at the forward, and sophomore Sanders in the post. Aguirre can't hit his first shot. He's 4 for 10 in the game from the floor. Vandeweghe with a rebound, his 5th of the game. Long pass to Wilkes and a foul on Dillard. He may have saved 2 points.
Good foul on Dillard. They should give Wilkes 2 shots on that. They're not going to give him 2, but I thought they should give him 2 because he was open for a layup.
Instead, it's a common foul, and playing it in is Wilkes out to Vandeweghe. Oh, Bradshaw ever close to intercepting. It's Foster, blocked partially as Cummings came out to get the ball. Wilkes saves it. Vandeweghe saves it. Sanders takes it away from Vandeweghe and scores. Sanders used Vandeweghe as his shield, and that allowed him to get the ball up on the glass.
Well, they put their baseline in tight that time, and the 3 of them really performed.
Bradshaw working on Holton, gets underneath. Holton fouls him.
Bradshaw, he got inside him that time, Dick, and Holton come from the backside and fouled him. An obvious 2-shot foul.
First foul on Holton, and to the line goes Clyde Bradshaw, a man who, along with another East Orange, New Jersey product, Gary Garland, they named a facility in that city, the Bradshaw Garland basketball court. Quite an honor.
One of the big assets of Bradshaw is that whatever press you put on him, he can break. He breaks all pressures by himself. 1
out of 2, and Foster rebounds, clears to Holton. 3-point UCLA lead at 36-33. Just underway in the second half here at Arizona State University. And if you will see, following this one, your second half of the doubleheader, Arizona State, Ohio State, a turnover as Foster fired too tall for Holton. That's the kind of mistake that plagued UCLA during the course of this year, primarily early in the season when Larry Brown used so many freshmen. But now and then they'll get into a rut, as they did in the second half against Old Dominion, but still won on Friday night.
Well, the first half they only had 6 turnovers, which is good.
Mitchum and Holton, the guard, with another rebound to Foster. The Bruins on the run. Foster with a bank, and he scores. 5-point UCLA lead.
Boy, is he quick.
Can you imagine trying to run with him back in your day?
I'd like to see him and Isaiah Thomas go against each other.
It's Aguirre against Wilkes, and Mark Aguirre scores, and it was right in the face of James Wilkes.
I think at halftime, Coach Meyer said, hey, let's get it into Mark Aguirre.
Bradshaw overplaying, and Foster couldn't get himself free. Now he is. Band away from 17. Not there. Dillard rebounds for DePaul. Bradshaw brings it down. Oh, is he clever?
At 3:30, then he dribbles behind his back, gets his balance.
Aguirre between the legs to set up a 15-footer. He hits 2 in a row. And it's 38-37. UCLA by 1. Mrs. Ray Meyer applauding the Blue Demons.
Mary Margaret Donnelly.
Sanders had an opening, didn't take it up the alley. He'll shoot it from outside. Way off the mark. So Mitchum with a rebound. DePaul has a chance to take the lead.
I keep saying the wrong way. It's Margaret Mary, Dick.
Bradshaw. Great pass to Dillard. What a play.
Good timeout coming up now. Larry Brown. Stop their momentum.
6 unanswered points by DePaul. A brilliant feed from Clyde Bradshaw to Dillard for 2. UCLA's lead, once at 5, has melded. DePaul moves in front. 39-38. We have 17 minutes remaining in the game. 14,468 fans here at the University Activity Center. Other scores underway. Syracuse jumps to a big 15-point lead against Villanova. Final, Georgetown advances with a tough win against Iona. It was LSU moving on with a 10-point victory over Alcorn State. Halftime, Texas A&M, the champions of the Southwest, leading North Carolina 30-29. Kentucky 39, Florida State 25. The Wildcats clawing at the Seminoles. Final, Indiana with a victory against Virginia Tech. They'll play Purdue in their next round.
Well, they want to scout each other.
They both have won this year. UCLA trails DePaul by a point. 39-38, pressure by DePaul, and there's the turnover. Bradshaw made the play. Oh, what quick hands by Bradshaw.
He stole the ball twice in there that time.
And a whistle away from the ball. The foul is on Wilkes of UCLA.
Muscling Mark Aguirre on the weak side of the court. Well, watch this. Bradshaw steals the ball there. UCLA gets it again. Now watch it come up, kick the ball off the Holton. Now they pick the ball up down court. So quick.
Now DePaul with a run of 6 straight points to move into the lead. They have a chance to build a lead now. Their biggest of the game is 4. UCLA has had a 5-point lead twice.
UCLA has gone back to a 2-3 zone.
Bradshaw here, and that too. 41-38. DePaul in front. 8 straight for the Blue Demons. Good teams have runs, don't they, Coach?
Yes. And they have stars, too, and get the ball to the star. That's all she wrote.
That's what they've done the second half. Maybe Ray Meyer was listening to this. He used to when you played DePaul at Marquette. You could hear each other through the walls of the locker room.
Yelling at each other. We're yelling at our ball players. I used to yell for 5 minutes, then he yelled for 5 minutes.
So you could hear what each one was saying.
Do you know he got $1,800 his first year at DePaul?
Sanders can't connect. Good rebound by Sanders. He stayed in there, and it's 41-40, and that was a big hoop for the Bruins.
That was his salary for the whole year, Dick.
How much was it again?
$1,800.
$1,800.
Well, it's 38 years ago.
Bradshaw working on Holton.
It's probably worth $80,000 today.
I would hope so.
Good game.
Mitchum to Dillard.
Alternating the defense, the back to man UCLA.
Cummings in the corner. Aguirre moves outside. Now he does a little traffic control. Posts up against Wilkes. Look at that action away from the ball. Cummings. He'll take the 15-footer and hit it. 43-40. Terry Cummings now has 11.
He's their key rebounder.
Played 4.5 minutes, second half. DePaul 43, UCLA 40. Foster, Wilkes. Aguirre does a good job defensively, too.
A lot of set play here. Should feed Kiki underneath.
Foster hanging and scoring. He actually changed his air. In midair, moved it from right to left and made the 15-footer. 43-42 Foster. A dozen for UCLA. 5 minutes gone. Second half.
See, they got to analyze the defense each time down. That's why they got to keep the ball in Bradshaw's hands.
Aguirre can't hit. And it's Sanders with a rebound. He does a good job at 6'6". looking for help, and now he'll take it up himself. Chance to regain the lead for the Bruins on this trip down court. Bradshaw hawking Holton. It's Dillard on Foster. Wilkes has Aguirre. Vandeweghe and Mitchum. Wilkes to the iron and scores. He's made some good moves underneath, and UCLA's back in front, 44-43. Wilkes with 6.
He's no threat from outside, but when he drives towards the hoop, he's dynamite.
UCLA, after relinquishing the lead that they owned at 5, now is back in front. Mitchum, short. It's tapped out in a break. Oh, fast hands by Vandeweghe. Off to Foster. He scored.
Any breakaway, if Foster has the ball, it's 2 points. Ray's a little disgusted on that play.
So 8 in a row for DePaul. Then UCLA comes back with 6 straight points. And it's the Bruins on top by 3. 13:45 left, a whistle. And the foul on Wilkes, trying to stop Aguirre inside.
He bumped him. He picks up one more foul. They move back in Allen. They're trying to rotate the fouls on ever covering Mark Aguirre.
That's the 3rd foul on James Wilkes. Teddy Grubbs comes into the DePaul lineup. He replaces Mitchum. Dillard, good outside shooter. Not there. Sanders, another rebound. He has been a big key to UCLA's lead. 2-on-2. Holton to Vandeweghe. Stolen by Dillard. Good hustle by Dillard. He sets up Bradshaw. Foster almost with a steal. Oh, what a pass. Eyes in the back of his head. Aguirre. And a foul.
Coming pushed underneath that time. Obvious foul.
Terry Cummings gets the foul. Larry Brown at first, I think, thought it was against UCLA.
We're going to catch that last steal right here now. Ball's thrown over to Kiki Vandeweghe, but over goes Skip Dillard, puts on his whirlaway gear, picks it up, kicks the ball up to the man who should have it in his hands, Clyde Bradshaw.
Boy, he really came a long way. He was behind the ball when it was passed and caught up with it and batted it away. UCLA by 3. 7 minutes into the second half. Lob toss to Vandeweghe, knocked away. Oh, it's saved. Vandeweghe touched it last. It appeared Aguirre knocked it out of bounds.
I would say you were right that time, Dick.
It'll be DePaul going the other way.
Got ourselves a nice game here. 3-point spread.
Cummings goes to Grubbs. Aguirre with Wilkes. He's got 3 fouls. Aguirre can't hit it. Sanders tips it to Holton. 3-on-1 for UCLA. Now 3-on-2. Wilkes. He's fouled by Aguirre, and that'll be the 3rd on the star of the Blue Demons. 3rd foul on Aguirre.
Beautiful play by Wilkes that time. He could have got out of the way of Aguirre if he wanted to, but he went for the foul and the possible 3-point play. He didn't get the shot off, so he gets 2 shots. Here comes the pass in. Now watch. He could have got out of his way because Aguirre committed himself already. Wow, he was upstairs then too, wasn't he?
Indeed.
He dipped his head too, so he would hit the backboard.
Halftime score, Coach. Syracuse 40, Villanova 28. Kentucky leads Florida State 43-27. Sizable lead for the Cats. Wilkes hits the free throw. UCLA's lead is 4 at 47-43. And James Wilkes now seeking his 8th point of the game.
That Kentucky game is in Bowling Green, Kentucky, the home of Western Kentucky.
Don Crickey and Billy Packer calling that one for the NBC audience. Stolen, and a foul on Dillard. Dillard stole the ball, but apparently got a piece of the wrist. Halftime now. Kentucky leads Florida State 49-27. So apparently Kentucky will advance. We're starting to fill in the blanks as we boil down this 42nd National Collegiate Basketball Championship. The winner of this game will play in the next round. The winner of the game that follows, Arizona State or Ohio State.
Ray looks worried. There's a guy with 16 grandchildren. 66 years of age. He's going to coach till he's 81.
He's a 2-time Notre Dame captain. A lot of people hopes he will coach that long.
He said if his son Joey leaves, he leaves.
Sanders has a pressure now by DePaul. Foster free in the corner, passes up the shot. So UCLA slowing it down a bit at this juncture.
Getting out a little bit. They got a 4-point lead.
12:20 left in the game.
Very close to their first strategy. Get a 7-point lead. Change the style of the game.
Out of bounds. A lot of bumping in there. Wilkes thought that he was treated unkindly, but it goes to DePaul.
He lost control of the ball that time.
Well, we know some of the matchups coming up. It'll be Georgetown against Maryland in the East, and Iowa will play the winner of that Villanova-Syracuse game. Cummings with a lob pass and an easy two. 47-45 with 12 minutes left.
That Maryland-Georgetown game, that's a subway game.
Georgetown beat Maryland earlier this year. Buck Williams was out of the Maryland lineup at the time. Almost a steal by Dillard. Holton free, rarely shoots. And it's rebounded by Aguirre. DePaul going for the tying hoop.
What a difference in UCLA in 3 months. They're running their offense and defense is excellent. I'd like to compliment Larry Brown for that.
Teddy Grubbs loves that shot. Not there, but Bradshaw is. Tipped by Aguirre. Who wants it? Who's got it? Sanders rips it out of the pack, and finally we get a jump ball.
The ball got back to Mark Aguirre, and he couldn't get a hold of it. Sanders ended up grabbing it, and they were getting too rough in there, pushing and shoving, so they called a jump ball.
Coach, another matchup you're going to like in the Midwest. LSU is going to play Missouri. The Tigers, a Cinderella team with a couple of upsets. It'll be Kentucky and Duke, a rematch of the finals a couple of years ago. That'll be another matchup next week. Purdue and Indiana each beat each other during the season. And Clemson against Lamar. The Lamar what?
Lamar, oh, I don't want to say it. The Lamar Lone Rangers.
Cardinals. Vanderway. No Lone Ranger on that play. And UCLA leads 49-45. 11 minutes left in the game. Vanderway now with a total of 11. That's his first points of the second half. Cummings, 16-footer right there.
Oh, a lot of confidence for a freshman. A big pressure game like this, and he pops it up from 15 feet, holds it out.
Cummings has 15. He leads DePaul.
Last time that UCLA lost, the Grubbs beat him, so they're like the Twins. When Grubbs signed with DePaul, 2 days later, Cummings said he was going to go with the Blue Demons.
Wilkes trying to get inside. It's against Grubbs of DePaul.
I think James Wilkes is playing an outstanding game.
Second foul on Grubbs. Team fouls. UCLA 3. DePaul has 4. I like the fact these officials are letting the teams play. They've not interfered with the game. They've just helped control it. Intercepted by Bradshaw. Vanderway to beat. And Vanderway stops him. Grubbs misses a dunk. Big miss by Grubbs following it up. Foster the other way.
Give a plus to Kiki Vanderway there. He saved 2 points.
And the UCLA fans cheering the effort by Vanderway, the veteran, working with basically a freshman-sophomore team. Inside to Sanders. He's the sophomore, and he hits 2. 51-47. The Bruins refuse to wilt, and we're under the 10-minute mark in this game.
The kids call Sanders Seattle Slew.
In your expression, he's a thoroughbred to them. There's the Secretariat, Aguirre.
There's the whole stable.
Taken away, and a long pass to Holton. Bradshaw to beat. He does it.
Mike.
Oh, my.
Nice play, Mike. Great.
Michael Holton slam dunk over Clyde Bradshaw, and UCLA has its biggest lead. Timeout. 9.5 minutes left, and Holton has punctuated the Bruin advantage. 53-47. Here's that play again, Coach McGuire, as
Here comes the turnover.
Sanders steals.
All right, Mike Holton. Here he goes upstairs now. He's a great athlete. Doesn't look to shoot, but he drives the basket good. Clyde Bradshaw goes up with him, but wow, those are 2 great athletes. Look at that.
Holton 6'3" from Pasadena, California. That plays misses Larry Brown. Barbara Brown. Boy, she's right into that UCLA mood. Doesn't take long, does it? Want to say hello to J.D. Morgan, the athletic director retiring at UCLA, a close friend for many years. Certainly helped us so many times in my career, and I'm sure rooting as hard as anyone for his beloved Bruins.
You know, he was a great asset to Coach Wooden through those years and those great championship teams.
Batted away, last touch by Sanders. Boy, Sanders wanted that when he thought he had it. J.D. Morgan will be leaving. Another friend of mine, Fred Miller, who is no longer the athletic director here at Arizona State. Want to send along my best regards to him, too. Worked on my graduate degree with Fred back in Indiana. Dillard pumps. Not there. And suddenly, DePaul having trouble finding the hoop, and they get another break out of bounds as DePaul got a big play from McGuire in his hustle. He forced it to touch a Bruin before it went out of bounds.
Well, you have a body like McGuire. The more the game goes on, the later the game, the stronger they get.
Well, they've missed 2 times down court this time. Let's see if 3 is the charm for DePaul. They trail by 6. And, a crier, as you'd call that one.
From the bottom of the rim. UCLA was sitting in the 2-3 zone that time.
Cummings has 17 points to lead DePaul. 8 minutes and 42 seconds left. UCLA's lead is 4. Oh, and a turnover. Good defense, and Dillard was holding the beat. And he scores. That's a couple of balls that found home for DePaul. The last 2 have trickled in.
Sometimes you wonder if destiny's starting to make a move here.
UCLA's lead at 6, now down to 2. Foster working on Bradshaw. Oh, clutch shot by Foster, a 15-footer. He has 16.
Boy, he's putting on a one-man show. You clear out a side and let him have the ball, and that's all she wrote.
He's going to be tough to keep off our all-freshman team.
Don't even talk about that team anymore.
McGuire. Cooley drops in a 17-footer. It's 55-53. Less than 8 minutes left. McGuire has 15.
Now you got to find out who's going to crack. Usually around this time of the game, some team cracks. The other team moves up 8 points, can play the clock.
Cliff Pruitt, the freshman. Cummings hawking him, and it goes off his foot. Cummings jabbed the ball away. It hit the foot of Pruitt out of bounds.
Surprisingly, at the present time, UCLA has 3 freshmen on the court.
With Sanders a sophomore and Vandeweghe the only senior.
Well, Wilkes just came back in for Pruitt.
And DePaul with a chance to tie. 7.5 minutes left. Cummings has scored 8 of DePaul's last 10. There he is with the ball. It's Aguirre. Hello.
Doctor, it was a great operation, but you cut off the wrong leg.
55-55. UCLA had a 6-point lead, and it's disappeared in a hurry under the charge of the DePaul Blue Demons, and we have a new game with 7 minutes left.
I just like the way UCLA is controlling themselves. They're well coached. They do their stuff right down to the end here.
Sanders, no foul, and Wilkes takes it back for UCLA. Boy, it appeared to be a slap in there as Vandeweghe. UCLA leads 57-55.
Nice fake there. He faked to his right and went to his left. Automatic layup.
Vandeweghe with 13.
As I said from the top of the show, he doesn't look pretty, but he always gets the job done. He's Mr. Steady.
6:40 left. It's Cummings. He ties it up for DePaul. 57 aside. Cummings with 19.
What's going on here? They just go back and forth, and every shot's a pressure shot. UCLA has called a timeout.
Boy, the fans, DePaul and UCLA alike, applaud the action they've been watching the last 5 minutes. As back and forth we go. Here is that last shot as Vandeweghe found some room.
No, that's a block on Cummings. He kicks the ball up.
And then Wilkes steals.
Wilkes steals it, comes back down court, and Vandeweghe fakes to the right. Watch here, fakes to the right, then he automatically goes in. Give him a head fake, left his shoes on the court.
What an advantage to use that opposite hand. A tie game at 57.
On NBC's.
Thank you, Bryant. Great job of following all the other action around the country. We're tied at 57, DePaul and UCLA. The Bruins have the ball, just 6.5 minutes left in this game. Oh, this is just a copy of what we saw yesterday. 2 overtime games, and thus far neither team able to pull away. DePaul's biggest lead has been 4. UCLA's largest lead, 6.
DePaul sitting in the 2-3 zone. Now you get into a chess game. There's 6 minutes left in the game. 6:10.
How about Syracuse without Roosevelt? Bowie didn't score the first half and still leading Villanova by 12 at the intermission.
Big Orange are tough up in that snow country. Orr is an outstanding ball player. They're going to force DePaul to play man-to-man. That's right, play. I don't know why the people are booing.
Tie game, it's the pressure on the defense to come out.
That's right. Well, they go to the man-to-man.
Bradshaw and Foster. Wilkes gets Grubbs. Oh, good work by DePaul. Wilkes goes to the hoop and scores, and he is followed by Grubbs. Oh, that was a nice move by the senior Wilkes.
Big baskets that time in the game.
Is it my imagination, or does it seem to you that Wilkes has made the big baskets for you?
Every time. Here comes the fake. He goes around the man. He goes up. He's caught from behind by Grubbs. Plays it off the glass, so it can't be rejected.
Foul on Grubbs is third. No one with more than 3 in the game, and Wilkes shooting for the 3-point play. UCLA back in front by 3 on the effort from James Wilkes. 5 minutes, 30 seconds left.
UCLA is in man-to-man.
Inside, Cummings sets up Grubbs. No, he keeps it himself. Rebound, Sanders. UCLA with the ball.
Got to get the ball in tight, and they got to go to their star. I don't like the matchup here. They got Mark Aguirre and Kiki Vandeweghe. Mark might pick up his 4th foul.
Sanders helping out. Good pressure by DePaul.
Kiki will take him to school here if they open up.
Foster indicates play 2. Foster in the corner. Oh, nice move as he reversed and scored. Lightning quick move, and UCLA leads by 5, 62-57. Coach, I think we can finally say it. Now there is pressure. DePaul, #1 in the country, trails by 5 with 4:38 left. Who's got a great play by Bradshaw.
Oh, holy mackerel. What a terrible shot Grubbs took. Bradshaw did a 360, a 720, a half gainer, and put the ball in.
Yeah, but did you like it?
Holy mackerel.
UCLA's lead to 3 on a sensational play by Bradshaw. Cummings caught reaching in. Let's see Bradshaw again.
He gets up in the air. He has to tuck his legs in so he doesn't get down in touch without putting it up. Then he hooks it out with his left arm off the back of the rim, and in it goes.
Oh, let's Kenneth Edmondson say that again. There were all 5 UCLA players were within reach to actually touch him. He had 5 men within 3 feet of him. What a shot. One little guard in a sea of blue gets 2. And now let's go to New York and Brian Gumbel.
DePaul in Tempe.
Now that report from Jay Randolph. Carolina and A&M in a struggle. Here it's UCLA 62, DePaul 59. 4 minutes, 16 seconds left in the game. The Amateur Basketball Association of the United States of America administers the international amateur basketball program of this country under the guidelines set by FIBA, the international governing body of basketball. For free information on U.S. amateur basketball, contact ABA USA, 1750 East Boulder, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Preceding announcement furnished by the NCAA. Sanders hits the free throw, and UCLA's lead is 4.
UCLA is in the 1-1, and they only have committed 3 fouls, so they're in great position.
Sanders matching the number on his back. He still is there. It remains a 4-point lead as Cummings got the rebound. Here comes Bradshaw. DePaul lost only 1 game all year. That was at Notre Dame in double overtime. Cummings hanging. He can't score. And was he fouled? Yes. Sanders of UCLA.
I don't think there's any way he could have made that shot, Dick. He got the ball caught behind his head, and he had to reach way back even to get the ball up on the rim.
3rd foul on Sanders. Cummings toes the stripe. Averaging 14 points a game this year, and he's an 82% free throw shooter. 20 points for Cummings, the leading scorer in this game. 4 minutes, 5 seconds left. (63-61). UCLA's lead is 2, and pressure in the backcourt.
Oh!
Bradshaw almost picked it away. He is so quick defensively.
Boy, he's right there.
Holton to Wilkes. Long pass to Holton. He takes it in.
Nice.
Blocked by Cummings and stolen by Bradshaw. DePaul with a chance to tie. It's Cummings.
Oh, Cummings.
63 a shot. Terry Cummings with 23, and the game is tied with 3:40 left.
I can't take another overtime, Dick. We've had our last 3 games have been overtimes that we've done together.
That's right. Last week it was Indiana over Ohio State, and yesterday in the Midwest, Louisville survived, and Missouri upset Notre Dame.
Fake.
Tie game. Sanders against Cummings. He scores. He took it over a man 3 inches taller. 13 for Sanders.
Boy, has Sanders matured late in the season.
He was the Louisiana Player of the Year 2 straight years before going west. Foul. And I believe this one on Wilkes for holding Aguirre. That'll be his 4th. Gonna go back and see Sanders in action.
Let's see.
Blocked by Cummings, and Sanders got it. Oh no, this
It's Bradshaw coming back up court. Kicks the ball over to Cummings. Cummings drops it in 2.
Oh, that was 2 plays ago. All right, now 65-63. UCLA in front. Less than 3 minutes remaining as Dillard ties it up. Skip Dillard makes it 65 aside. 2:51 left. Dillard has 12.
6 months of hard work comes down to 2 minutes and 44 seconds.
Ooh, a good save by Vandeweghe. You have to be able to catch the ball, too, in this game, and he just made a tough catch.
Well, he has all the tools. He's a great athlete.
Sanders working on Cummings, trying to get inside. Sanders again.
How to get the ball to either man inside. They're both seniors. They've been in tournaments before.
Holton, a good fake, and Holton's first points of the game give UCLA the lead. He'll make that 6 point. I'm sorry, I hadn't remembered him scoring, but he did have some in the first half.
He made that super dunk in the first half.
That's right, of course he did. 67-65, UCLA, as we wind it down to 2 minutes remaining.
Playing man-to-man, UCLA. They get the ball into Mark Aguirre. Move up to your defensive man, Jim Mitchell, and then you can pass the ball in. Mitchell. There it is.
There's Aguirre over Wilkes. He fouls, and Wilkes will be out of the game as Aguirre turned his ankle in the process. There wasn't that much contact. The foul, a good call, and Aguirre apparently relaxing a little bit, turned his ankle as he spun out of bounds.
Mark, say it isn't so. Oh, boy. Wow, that's like an elephant getting up. They come up in sections.
Boy, he must feel like, one to the man who has to try to stop him, and James Wilkes apparently has fouled out. He's not left the court as yet, but according to our books, that's his 5th. And a tough assignment. Cliff Pruitt, the freshman, will come in. Wilkes leaves the game. He made some key baskets, not only defensively doing a good job on Aguirre, but made 10 points himself.
Gee, it looks to me that the move should be to Allums, but he's going to Pruitt.
Well, let's talk about Wilkes defensively. He held Aguirre to 16 points, and that's good work.
Yeah, but he also had zoned some of the time out there. But Wilkes played an excellent game offensively and defensively. What Larry Brown was doing at that particular time, you got a minute to make a substitution if a guy fouled out. So he took advantage of it, and meanwhile, he was icing Mark Aguirre. Making Mark Aguirre think of the shots. It's a
Two shots.
It's a 2-shot foul. It's not 1-1. Matter of fact, from now on, after this shot, both teams are in the 1-1.
It was Aguirre who shot 2 technicals, 2 attempts after the technical against Brown, and missed them both. Very big misses, but he's an excellent shooter.
I doubt if he'll miss now, Dick, because he'll be concentrating. I thought earlier in the game his head was someplace else.
This one to tie. We're even at 67. No doubt about those two. Vandeweghe helping out in backcourt.
Release the pressure, give the ball to Vandeweghe.
1 minute, 40 seconds left. Sanders, barely weaving his ball. Aguirre is down, and he's holding his ankle again. Let's hope not.
Yeah, I hope he's not hurt.
Aguirre colliding right in front of us as he tried to reach in for the steal. Is that the same ankle he was holding earlier?
I don't know, Dick. But he's hurt this time. I hope it's not serious.
Foul went against Dillard, his 4th. And Aguirre limping to the sidelines. Ray Meyer has had incredibly bad luck. Remember, a few years ago, Dave Corzine going into the tournament was injured. Last year it was Watkins that was hurt.
See if his foot lands. There it is.
Yep.
There it is. That's a problem. Once a ball player's foot lands on another ball player's foot, you have a problem. It normally creates a severe sprain. Now, I don't know how bad Mark's sprain will be, but later on after this game, that thing will swell up. A ball player can play while his body's hot. He can stay in there. But now this timeout will hurt him. I doubt it. It's going to be a problem.
Ray Meyer has call time.
Let's see that again, Dick. Ray Meyer has 5 timeouts left. Now he has 4 left after this call. If we can see that play again, there's great camera work by Harry Curl and his crew. Congratulations. There you are. bang, right there. That's.
And then he turns. We've all done that, even maybe on a place, crack on a sidewalk or something, and you don't expect it. And Aguirre, he wants to walk it off.
He has to keep moving. If he stops moving, that thing will just swell up.
Let's take a timeout. 1:38 remaining. Each team fighting to stay alive. They're tied at 67. Dick Enberg with Al McGuire. Tempe, Arizona, the scene. The game is tied at 67. And there, perhaps the college basketball player of the year, Mark Aguirre, DePaul star, has turned an ankle. He stays in the game. Mike Sanders moves to the line for UCLA, trying to break a 67 tie. Even though Aguirre's in there, you can't see how he can possibly be anywhere near 100%. He can barely stand on that foot.
Yeah, but just to have him in there gives confidence to the rest of the kids.
Sanders hits the front end of the 1-and-1, and UCLA has a 1-point lead, 68-67.
I think I like to set something up. Both teams have 3 timeouts left. Both teams are in the 1-and-1.
Sanders missed 1 of 2 the last chance. Hits them both this time, 69-67. The pressure continues on top-rated DePaul.
Now, everyone, come along and coach with me. UCLA is playing man-to-man. They're going to try to get the ball into the man.
Vandeweghe is guarding Aguirre now. Cummings, he's been the hot hand.
Plenty of time left. There's 2.
Aguirre. Oh, tough luck, but it's saved by Cummings. He batted it back out. Good play by Cummings. Aguirre still wants the ball, loses it, and it's saved by Sanders. 1 minute left. UCLA leads by 2.
Now the key is they can go 4 corners. They can't call a timeout. They take advantage of Aguirre's ankle.
Mitchum fouls Pruitt.
Good foul. Very important foul at this time in the game because Aguirre could not cover defensively.
That'll send the freshman Pruitt, and he just took a big, deep swallow. He's not an outstanding free throw shooter, only 65%.
He's their worst free throw shooter, Dick.
And he goes to the line. Quickly, other scores. Texas A&M 41, North Carolina 36. Syracuse leads Villanova 50-37. Kentucky breezing against Florida State 53-33. And here, UCLA leads DePaul by 2.
The pro moved in a timeout at the right time, Coach Meyer.
Well, I hope he didn't steal Brian Gumbel's thunder. I'm sure he has more updates. Let's go back to New York.
Complete a surprise in Tempe. Let's go back to Dick Enberg.
All right, Brian, thank you. UCLA 69, DePaul 67 with 51 seconds remaining in the game. Cliff Pruitt, the freshman for UCLA at the line. He's 2 for 2 today. UCLA in the 1-and-1 has made 3 out of 4 opportunities. Just 1 time on the back end they missed. And here's Pruitt. Oh, you know, here's the biggest moment in his young life.
Very difficult for him to make this foul shot.
He has 4 points today.
An awful lot of pressure on a young guy from Bourbon Day High School. Got it crying.
70-67, and the Vice Titans on top-rated DePaul.
Boy, Pruitt gave himself a nice little smile then.
That was easy.
That one's easy. That one's no problem.
DePaul trails by 4, 51 seconds left. They have the ball in the hands of Bradshaw. Aguirre playing with a sprained ankle. It's Grubbs who will shoot it. Rebound, Holton of UCLA. We may be seeing the biggest upset of the tournament as a foul on Cummings of DePaul.
Cummings reached in, fouled Holton. And in fact, he reached over the top when he fouled him.
Certainly an upset yesterday when Lamar, unranked, knocked off 5th-rated Oregon State. But many said UCLA should not have been in the 48-team field. There were cries from all over the country the Bruins didn't deserve to be in this tournament. And now Ray Meyer must be wishing deep down inside they had not made it. He trails by 4, and UCLA with a 1-and-1 Holton at the line.
Another pro move. Timeout, let him think. Not as difficult as the fouls were made before by Pruitt. There were big fouls that he made, especially the first one. He didn't put enough trajectory on it. He pulled his arm back, but I guess the sun's shining on him today. It went in. This game is not over yet. There's 37 seconds left.
All right, and Larry Brown is instructing his Bruins and trying to find some magic at the other end as the veteran Ray Meyer will be back. UCLA at the line. 29 years of age, a graduate of North Carolina, 6.5 years a coach in the professional ranks. 3 times he was the assist leader in the old ABA. He was in Tokyo in 1964, representing the United States in the Olympic Games. Larry Brown, 39 years young, and just 37 seconds away from his biggest coaching win. At the other end, Ray Meyer with 627 career wins. Coach of the year. His 45 team, 1945, won the NIT with the great George Mikan. He has perhaps the most heralded player in the country this year in Mark Aguirre, although admittedly playing injured here in the final minutes. And now he needs for Michael Holton to miss the free throw and hope his team can get 2 possessions in tie. Holton could all but ice it with his first attempt.
Put that ball up nice, big, confident.
UCLA fans begin to celebrate, and so does the Bruin bench.
You know, in high school, he averaged 26.4. A lot of points.
UCLA by 6. And apparently they're going to return the favor as DePaul upset UCLA last year in the tournament. And this year it appears to be the Bruins' turn as Vandeweghe knocks it out of bounds with 27 ticks remaining. Make it get 30. Actually, the official clock shows 30. Larry Brown yelling, make him throw back. Don't let him feed it underneath. That, of course, strategy involved just chew up. Even a few seconds are so important. Cummings. Dillard. Way short. Vandeweghe with a rebound. And Bradshaw is fouled by Holton.
Didn't use up much of that clock, Dick. There's 22 seconds left.
21 now.
21 on the official clock.
There are so many fans around this country rooting for this man, Ray Meyer. Coaching has become, for obvious reasons, the stresses and strains, a game for young men. Ray Meyer, in many regards, is thought of as a dinosaur. There aren't many like him left. Bradshaw keeps him in the game with the first one. 73-68, DePaul now trails by 5, and no one went for the ball, and it's out of bounds to UCLA. As again, Aguirre crashed to the floor, and Mike Sanders also holding at an ankle or a knee as he was hit. Left ankle.
The ball went off Mark Aguirre's foot that time.
20 seconds remaining, and they're calling Ducky Drake, the veteran trainer for the UCLA Bruins, on the floor. Man who has seen every great athlete on the campus of UCLA for the last 40 years, and one of his proteges was the Olympic decathlon champion Rayford Johnson.
56 years is associated with him. He works on annual contractual basis now.
It's a shame that after 65 we have to arrange that. Man, he's not ready to retire. Here's Sanders leaving the floor.
He looks better than Billy Packer.
Oh, that's net. Mike Sanders has played a big game for UCLA, 15 points. I want to thank the executive producer of NBC's college basketball, Don Ohlmeyer, and back in New York at our control center. I'm really proud of this network, the way we've given fans action not only at the site, but switching around, keeping abreast of other scores and highlights.
Brian Gumbel does excellent work. His brother's out here. I said hello to him.
George Finkel is our coordinating producer. Kenneth Edmondson, our producer. Harry Coyle, the director. And Harry, as most of you know, won the Emmy Award as the top sports director in the country last year. Don McGuire, feature producer. Wayne McDonald, our technical director. Associate director is Jim Marcioni. And Bill Peters, our associate producer. With a timeout here in Tempe, Arizona, and UCLA leading by 5, 73-68. 20 seconds left. Let's quickly go back to New York and Brian Gumbel.
In front 51-49, but time is running out on the top-ranked Blue Demons in Tempe. Let's go back to Dick Enberg.
All right, Brian. UCLA inbounding the ball, and an immediate foul as Bradshaw.
No foul.
Rod Foster dribbled the ball on the
foul.
end line. No, it's out of bounds to UCLA. That's a confusing call. 73-68, UCLA leading with 19 seconds remaining in the game. DePaul in the position where they have to foul. We'll have all the scores, highlights during Sports World, so stay with us on NBC. Those of you who have already seen your doubleheader with the conclusion of this game, stay tuned for Sports World. We'll have highlights, scores. We'll keep you up to date. And those of you in the West, you'll see the second half of the doubleheader. As this is your first game, it'll be Arizona State and Ohio State. Larry Brown's Bruins lead by 5, 17 seconds left, and Cliff Pruitt at the line for UCLA.
A little bit more relaxed this time than last one. He had 2-point lead last time. He dropped them in. This time they have a 5-point lead with 17 on the clock.
He hasn't missed today, and that's his 5th in a row from the line, and had the worst free throw percentage coming in. Well, as soon as you get this game figured out, will you write a book, Coach? And Ray Meyer. Your heart goes out to the man. I think a lot of us wanted him to succeed, but there's room for a new man in the tournament, Larry Brown, and it's a story in itself. Larry Brown has done a quiet, solid job in rebuilding a very young team, a team really without a center.
No junior class.
No junior class. He's gone with the youth, and he's done it in a very modest but aggressive way, if those aren't contradictory terms, and with a feeling that John Wooden was his ally, and not that he was working against the shadow of John Wooden. Bradshaw misses, but it was a two-shot opportunity.
Larry Brown's whole life has been basketball. Even when he first got to college, he went to the Goodyear AAU team. Years ago, they used to have these AAU teams. It could be executive training program. He played 2 years there.
75-69 with 13 seconds left, and a whistle foul before the ball was inbounded, apparently. Yes, it was on Grubbs. That's a good foul because it's not a second ticked off. Brown, Brooklyn born. That's where you were born. Weren't you in Brooklyn, or was it close to?
Tree Bros in Brooklyn. I went to school in Brooklyn. I went to St. John's Prep and St. John's College, and lived in Long Island. I was born in the Bronx.
So UCLA apparently will upset DePaul and meet the winner of Arizona State, Ohio State. That game to follow here in Tempe, Arizona. And you know you're going to have a lot of noise for that one. This is an Arizona State crowd. Cliff Pruitt, a perfect 7 for 7 from the line. They foul Pruitt because he has the worst free throw percentage, and all he has done is played perfectly from that 15-foot stripe and dances in another.
I guarantee you this, Dick. This kid won't want to see this day come to an end. He won't sleep tonight.
Bradshaw can't connect. Rebound. Grubbs blocked by Pruitt. Dillard flips one in, a la Tony Branch of Cincinnati. There's the buzzer. The end of the game. An upset. UCLA beats DePaul 77-71. Between players and coaches and fellow coaches, the camaraderie. A gentleman has lost and wishes his successor well.
Hands himself like a pro.
Oh, always.
Ray, we hate to see you go. Maybe next year. Now here comes a new guy in the scene. That's what sports are all about, I guess.
Larry Brown's UCLA Bruins. They said he shouldn't be in the tournament. He's eliminated Old Dominion and now has dismissed DePaul. Next Saturday and Sunday, NBC Sports will have the regional finals for you. You'll see a game on doubleheader on Saturday, doubleheader on Sunday. Now, most of you in the Central and Eastern Zone, stay tuned for NBC Sports World. We'll update with scores. And in Mountain and Pacific Zone, stay tuned. We have Ohio State, Arizona State coming up in just a moment.
Promotional fee has been paid to...
It'll be labeled as the upset of the tournament thus far. UCLA 77, DePaul 71. We have Ray Meyer, who provided us with so many great thrills these last year and a half. And the winning coach, Larry Brown of UCLA. What happened?
We just got beaten, Dick. There are no excuses. I want to congratulate Larry and UCLA. They played a very fine ball game. They beat us. No excuses.
Ambivalent feelings at all, Larry? This is kind of, you were 1 year old when Ray Meyer started coaching at DePaul.
I saw him before the game, and I told him he has over 600, and he meant so much to the game of basketball, and the guys like me, I hated to play against him, but he has so much class and was so gracious today. I just feel thrilled for one reason and a little disappointed for another.
Hey, how about the comment around the country that your team didn't deserve to be in this tournament in the first place?
Well, you know, I'm just happy to be here. Heck, where I was last year, I'll settle for being right here now.
I remember when we beat them at Pauley Pavilion, I said after the game that they'd be a good tournament team. I thought they would come out.
You thought they deserved to be in the 48-team field?
Oh, sure. The way we played, I don't know. You know, tournament play is entirely different than regular season. And you're always disappointed to lose, but basketball, there's a game and a winner and loser. UCLA deserved to win all the way. We have no complaints whatsoever.
How about Ray Meyer at 66 years young? How about next year?
Well, maybe they'll listen to me a little more. I don't know.
Hey, come back. You'll be back.
I don't know how long I can go, but I've enjoyed it. I've had a lot of fun with basketball. Basketball's been very good to me, and maybe someday I can give it something back.
Well, let's give it something back. Thank you for being with us, Ray. I'm going to chat a little bit more with Larry Brown. We'll see you along the line.
Thank you, Dick.
Best to
Thank you, Al. Congratulations again.
Al, I know you want to talk to Larry Brown, maybe make a comment about Ray Meyer in the process.
Larry, what do you think of Ray as a man and a coach?
Well, what he said about giving something back to basketball, he's given so much, and it's a strange feeling, Coach. I've admired the man, and I spent some time with him this summer, and you get a thrill for winning for your kids, but you see what he's done for the game and what this team, DePaul, has done in the last year and a half. It's kind of strange to not see him in the tournament.
What did you do to stop Mark Aguirre? What strategy?
Well, we tried to really help, and we wanted to force him to the middle because we thought that was where we could help out the best. And I didn't think Grubb shot the ball well unless he was behind the backboard. He had, remember in Pauley, every shot he took was behind the backboard and didn't miss one. No, we wanted to make him beat us from the outside. We didn't want to foul him, and we didn't want to give up second shots. If you front him, you know, he gets the offensive board so well, and he holds off so well. So we didn't play Mitchum at all.
The last 6, 7 weeks or 8 weeks, your team came around. They've done a 360. I thought earlier you might have been overcoaching, and the kids might have had too many things.
Oh, I agree. I didn't know about the players, and I thought, you know, I could come in there and give them some things, you know, to kind of break the string a little bit and change, but it was too difficult to change it. And plus, Alan, you know, I was playing a lot of people that early that I'm not playing now, and I've settled on more 6 or 7 or 8, and the kids are much more comfortable.
Now all you need is the aircraft.
Yeah, the aircraft carrier.
No, we're not going to let you go. Just now you've had a chance. As you're talking now, you're assimilating this victory, and certainly as a college coach, your biggest win. You've had other high moments in your coaching career. As you look back at the game itself now, and you were analyzing it from your position on the bench, where was the key moment for UCLA, or was there a key play or a player that you'd like to herald before you leave?
Well, there are a lot of key plays. We were struggling, turned it over a couple of times, and had a possibility to turn it over again, and Kiki came up with it and made a layup. And then our offense, we were going, you know, a high post offense, and then if we were struggling in the passing game, and our kids started standing, and Mike Sanders got us off the hook on a jumper and then an offensive board. I was scared to death the whole game, but our young sucker stepped up there and made some foul shots they haven't made all year.
I like James Wilkes. He really gave you a game offensively and defensively. He neutralized Aguirre for quite a long time.
This year has meant so much to him and Kiki and our seniors, and to see the way they've performed under difficult circumstances. Me, the third coach, and following Coach Wooden, you know, there's never going to be another Coach Wooden, and he's been very supportive of me, and he cares a lot about these kids, and he knows what the seniors have gone through, and I'm thrilled for them.
Yeah. And I know they're whooping it up back there. There's one person missing. Go back and enjoy, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
Larry Brown, UCLA head coach. Hey, you know, I'm still tingling. There's this. I care so much about the people as you do that work in this game and work with young people, the teachers, and I just got a thrill about those two men shoulder to shoulder, one agonizing inside, one in glory, and both feeling for the other person.
I'm getting upset, Dick, because I get too close to these guys. Jack Hartman, I hated to see him lose the overtime. Jacob Phelps, I hated to see him lose. Ray Meyer, I hated to see him lose, but I equally would like not to see the other guy lose. So I don't know if I'm getting too close to the situation.
No, I don't think so. I don't think your heart's gotten in the way yet. All right, we've got an interesting feature in a team that we've been watching on NBC today, the champions of the Southwest, Texas A&M. The Aggies apparently have a wall. I mean a big front line, and they're showing that against the North Carolina Tar Heels. Let's check in with David Bacon as he reports on Texas A&M.
Is that it's like China, a sleeping giant. UCLA is waking up, and I think it's sending shivers through the rest of the 32 teams that are left. And there's something about UCLA and an NCAA tournament that scares everybody.
Tradition does live on, and Larry Brown, of course, is even his comment about John Wooden trying to stir and whip that sort of feeling. And he, I think, is very sincere in his pride in this university and what John Wooden created there in terms of basketball. Quickly, other scores. Texas A&M is
football game. The way they're bouncing around.
That was the first time UCLA actually had the ball down the shooting end of the floor in about 4 possessions.
at the line. Mike Sanders, sophomore.